and welcome to The Rare Agent, where we pull back the curtain on all things real estate. We're your hosts, Jennifer, Kelly, and Christina, and we're offering up a judgment-free space for collaboration over competition. So, ladies, episode number 1 of The Rare Agent. How are we all doing today?
We're here. We made it.
I'm really excited about doing this with you guys. I'm really excited.
Absolutely. I am too. I'm very stoked to do this. I think it's going to be fun.
A dream in the works, I think, for us for a while. Mm-hmm. I know Jen and I have talked about it for such a long time. And Christina, when you brought us the idea, we couldn't have been more excited.
I couldn't have thought of 2 people more that I wanted to do it with. So thanks so much for agreeing to doing it with me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And, I'm really excited to get to know you guys better, and as well as talking about the industry and really diving in and just giving our audience a real idea of what's behind the curtain.
Definitely.
In real estate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Collaboration over competition, right?
You know it. And 100%. I think it's important to tell all of our listeners that we didn't meet that long ago, the 3 of us. And it's a true testament to the collaboration part of our whole message, because
it's once you're vibing with somebody. Yeah.
May 5th is the first time we actually got to know each other.
I love that you know that.
It's actually almost been our 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, it actually
I love
is.
this.
I was thinking about it the other day that I'm going to talk about it. I can't wait for May 5th that we're going to talk about it.
That is so sweet. Look at that. And then here we are.
Yeah.
Podcasting.
We need to have a date. So, of course, we're all real estate agents, and we're here to talk about our amazing industry and our hopes for it and talk to some cool guests. But you guys have both been in it longer than me. How did you find your way into real estate?
Well, I'll go first. I've been in real estate I've been selling for just over 10 years now, but my real estate journey starts before then. I was working in admin offices and being a secretary. I worked in mortgages a little bit as an admin and an assistant. So I've worked in all aspects, the background aspects of real estate while I was in college. And then I was in a crossroad in life. Am I going to go to university after college, or am I going to get my real estate license? I had never moved at that point in my life, so I never knew what realtors did or the whole process of it. But once I started to work in the offices, I was like, oh my God, I love this.
What
job.
A great way to get into it too, when you see everything behind the scenes.
I had no expectations. When I joined, I thought it was a totally different type of company. So once I joined and I started seeing the ins and outs of how real estate works and the intricacies of it, and I just started to fall in love. And then I just learned everything I possibly could behind the scenes. And then once I got my license, I joined a small team and worked on a team for a little while. And then now for the last 5 years, I've been on my own, and I moved to Rare in 2021, and I haven't looked back. It's been awesome.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been I can't see myself doing anything else at this point.
So you love it. You absolutely love what you're doing.
Yeah, I do love what I'm doing. Of course, it comes with its obstacles, but I don't see myself doing any other type of career path. I think I'll always be in the realm of real estate. I'm sure I'll evolve to some other type of position in real estate as I go through my career, but I think I'll always do something to do with buying and selling or coaching, or it will be always something to do with real estate, as I just love every day is different.
Yeah.
You meet so many new people, and I really do care about people. I'm an empath. So I just liked people. I like being around people and helping them buy their first home and working through their real estate journey.
I love it. It is such a multifaceted industry. There's so many things that you can get into. And I think being an empath really, that's almost like your superpower, that in the industry, in order to be able to feel what someone else is feeling and be able to help them in their journey.
Yeah, I definitely try to absorb. I try to help people as much as possible, because as much as someone comes in and wanting to buy a property, or they always have these ideologies when they first start, I'm not going to get emotional, or I'm not going to overpay, or I'm not going to do this. But eventually you peel back that onion and you realize that those are probably the most emotional people, and how we break them down. So I've gotten really good at they are usually the ones that just can't handle it. And that's why they put up all these blockers. So I've just gotten really good at helping people work through that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
you found your path and you stayed true to it. Love that. I was a little less committed when I got into the world of real estate. I was always a creative person, and I was like, I'm going to be in fashion. I'm going to be Devil Wears Prada all day. That's the life. And then after university, I realized, no, that's not it. And then dove into interior design because, again, creativity, loved homes, had the best boss ever. And then my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, was like, I think you should get into real estate. And I laughed him right in the face. I was like, not a chance. I will never be a real estate agent. That's not for me. I don't like the salesy vibe. That's not my thing. And then it just kind of transitioned. I had a family member that was in the industry. I joined their team and just kind of went from there. I started as their stager. And then I was like, wow, I actually love real estate. I loved homes and interior design, but I also love to sell homes and share homes and teach people about homes. And it just really became a passion. And then that's when I met Jen. Honestly, if I hadn't met Jen, I don't know where my journey would have taken me, because like I found my person in the industry. Like she was my mentor. I admired her. She always helped me when I was lost in the journey. Honestly, so it's been everything. And like even real estate investing, she sparked my interest in that. So I think the people you meet along the way really shape your journey too.
You are simply too kind. I don't even know where to go from that. Oh my God.
I mean, you've been in it for a minute, Jen. Let's rewind.
Just a little bit. So my real estate journey certainly wasn't linear. I have actually been a licensed real estate agent. I'm 16 years now. We're going on 16 years, which is kind of insane. I started when I was like -3 years old.
Obviously.
Completely. That's totally what I did. But kind of like Kelly, I started off in the world of fashion, and I wanted to get into fashion management, and the whole, that whole Devil Wears Prada thing was completely my jam as well. And then from there, I sort of transitioned into working corporately for a luxury cosmetic brand and also a giant retailer. But where I'm getting to my real estate story was my dad, he actually used to do infill development. So he was buying and selling homes in, little pockets. And he was like, why don't you just get your license? Because then you can be the person who's buying and then we can sell and it's like a thing. And I'm like,
dream team.
No. I was like, I don't want to do this. This is not the thing. But anyways, all I could think about was, okay, that's an epic side hustle, earn a little bit of money over here, do my fashion dreams over there, no problem. So I went into it. And that was back in the day when they used to actually give you the book. It was literally an open book test. And I don't know how I still managed to somehow fail the first time, but that's okay. Anyways, got through that. And then I did it essentially part-time and working the corporate jobs as a full-time, as my full-time profession. But it wasn't until I experienced okay. So I kind of had a Devil Wears Prada moment where I worked for this luxury cosmetic company and I absolutely loved it, guys. I really did. It was in the heart of Yorkville. I met so many interesting characters. I was like, wow, I have arrived. And then after a little bit of time in there, I realized that the burnout is real because the schedule that you have to, that industry makes you accommodate is just, it wasn't for me. I have small children. I wanted to be home with them. I needed my schedule to be flexible, and it just suffered complete burnout and decided, you know what? I have this thing called a real estate license and I've had it for the last, 10 years. So I might as well, why don't I try it? Let's give a go at doing it full time. And that's when I decided to go ahead and join the team that Kelly had mentioned earlier, because they were just such a powerhouse team. And I really wanted, to learn the ropes before I went out on my own. And magically, I met my person, like honest to God, my soul sister right here, Kelly. We just had such a great dynamic. We had so many creative moments together where we were like, this can be a little bit different, like I love real estate. I love everything about homes and neighborhoods and all of that jazz. But when we got together, we started talking magic about how it could be a little bit different and how it could be, we could coordinate our fashion experience, our love for interior design, slap in some food. And the next thing you know, we're talking about, our own little real estate brand. So together we do have Abode Realty. And I have never looked back since branching out on our own.
She hasn't looked back, but she's looked in every other direction. Jen is the truest entrepreneur at heart. She squirrels like it's nobody's business.
Oh, man.
She's a dreamer, and that is what I love about her.
Well, didn't you text us yesterday saying that if we should go to the East Coast?
Moncton. Yeah, absolutely. Like, no, guys, you can't keep my brain in like one place. No. I have undiagnosed ADD, guaranteed.
For sure.
But I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like that. So I am also into real estate investing, and I met somebody who was all about Moncton real estate investing, and I was like, oh my God, this is where I need to take my real estate investing to the next level. And they are going this weekend. And so, you know what? Sometimes I just feel like things are meant to be. And I was like, I'm supposed to go there.
It. I forced her out to North Bay one time. She thought it was a joke, and we both bought properties
I bought 2 properties that day. Okay. They were under 200,000. Can you go wrong?
No, you can't go wrong.
No, you
so
cannot.
crazy. So crazy.
Like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just coming to look.
Right.
And then you walk up with 2 houses.
I mean, when it's priced right.
Can I just say one thing, though, about that little trip? Going up to North Bay, please forgive me. Anybody from Northern Ontario, please forgive me. But we're driving up the 401, and I have never been past Muskoka. Honestly, I haven't. I felt like I was like literally driving up. I don't know how to describe it to you, but I wasn't driving.
Too. It got colder and colder.
It was like I was literally driving up the North Pole, and then we got to North Bay, and it was actually the most beautiful little town. It has a gorgeous Lake Nipissing, and I was like, what is this place, and how have I never discovered it? But it felt like I was literally going, whoop.
Up and away.
And thus far, it's been a great investment. So I'm so happy that we got in there.
Most people make, like, there's a lot of great investing stories where they didn't think about it too much. They're just like, this made sense.
Sometimes it's the best. Analysis paralysis is real.
Yeah. I think if you overanalyze it, or, you know, it's just, I think it's a feeling and you need to go with it sometimes. And I've heard a lot of really great success stories where people are just like, I didn't expect to do that today, but I did it and I'm so happy I did. Or I didn't expect to walk in that sales center and buy a unit and then it's 5 years later and it's cash flowing positively.
For sure.
So it's sometimes real estate sometimes you just got to go where you see the opportunity, and it could be in North Bay or it could be
in Moncton.
In Moncton, which is hilarious. But I wasn't expecting that message this morning. But you know what? If you went and bought one, I definitely would have made a trip to see what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't
like
put
one
it
time I
past
drove
me.
out to Detroit.
Yeah,
because they were.
I love that.
They were selling houses for $1,000.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was wild, and they had this whole program where you buy the house, and then this property management company comes and they they fix the inside and then they rent it out for you. And then of course Canadians come in and say, oh, can we rent the basement? Like, can we make the basement do it? And they would say, oh, we don't do that out here.
Which is crazy.
But they would pay you.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it's not available now. It's like one of those things that you should have done it when you could have.
Yeah.
But you were buying houses for really cheap.
So interesting though. Toronto, we're like, give us as many units as we can possibly get. Like everything just changed to 4 now in Toronto? You can have 4 units, which is amazing.
Amazing.
Happening.
Yeah,
we need that shortage of housing.
Well, it's the missing middle, right? It's, adding in those garden suites. If you're lucky enough to have a laneway suites, they're still expensive. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, if you already own the land, why not do something with it?
It's
right?
True.
So
we find our own crazy journeys. And speaking of, I mean, we all love what we do and have great clients and great experiences, but there's funky moments in the industry. So,
let's talk about the funk.
Should we dive into some
Absolutely.
of that?
Let's go. Kelly, start us off here with your craziest real estate story.
Oh my gosh. It's funny because honestly, thinking back, I can't believe this even happened. This was supposed to be my first deal. I met this client back when I was on the team. I hadn't done any deals yet. It was actually my dad's friend had passed away, so it was his estate. And his lovely daughter, Joelle, needed some help. No problem. We're getting into it. We realized they had to go through probate. Plus, he had been in a class action lawsuit, so they were dealing with lawyers for that. I went back and forth with her. I talked to lawyers for... Honestly, it was a year.
It was a year.
It was all said and done.
Absolutely.
People don't realize that, like,
things take time.
Sorry, I'm talking to the mic, but people don't realize that us realtors, it doesn't only start from the time where you're
They're like, oh, you put the sign in the lawn and you smiled? No.
No, actually, I had to lawyer speak for you a little bit.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked to lawyers for a year. We talked to all sorts of people. We had signs on the lawn and then took them down because things changed. It was a whole adventure. Plus, I think, did COVID happen at that time? It did. It was also COVID.
It totally happened.
So it was a whole adventure. Anyways, long story short, we got through the whole process. It's time to list the house. We're so excited. We clear it out. We do the decluttering. We get the junk out of their yard for them.
That was fun.
On the lawn.
That was a lot of fun.
We were ready. We were going to list in, I think, 3 days, and an agent wanted to see it before it hit the market. No problem. Set them up. They went in. They took a look. He called me the next day and he's like, I just drove by. Did you guys sell? I was like, no, we didn't. I mean, I wish, but no, we didn't sell yet. He goes, oh, your sign's gone. I was like, I know I'm new, but I don't think that's normal. Like, I don't think signs just disappear from the lawn. So I drove by the next day and the sign was gone and so was the lockbox. Okay, someone can take a sign, but you can't just take a lockbox. You need the code or you need to magically saw it off, I guess. So I was like, this is sketchy. I called the owner. I was like, the lockbox is gone. I'm not sure what happened, but that was my key. So I need you to meet me at the property with the key so we can see what's going on. Brought my husband because I was like a little weirded out about the situation. And when we pulled up, we saw my client pacing on the corner without a coat in the winter, like freaking out. And we're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? She's like, there's someone in the house. There's a woman in the house.
Wild.
I was like, pardon? She's like, she's screaming at me that it's her house. She's there. She's not leaving. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. My client, she had been going through a lot. She was really stressed. She's like, I can't be here. I gotta go. So she leaves. So it's me and my husband who's just in the car hanging out and the squatter in the house. There was this woman. She went in. She set up shop with her lawn chair and her magazine and she was just hanging out. And we were very fortunate. We called the cops and they were able to remove her. It turned out she just lived down the street. I don't know what the situation was. But yeah, we had a squatter in like one of my first listings. It was a little bit crazy. And it turns out I called the other agent and I was like, so I just want to follow up. There was a woman in the house. Did you give anyone the lockbox code? He's like, no. Oh, you know what? Actually, when we went for our showing, there was a woman just kind of hanging out on the lawn. I'm like, oh, you know what? Tell me about the random woman on the lawn. So I guess she went up while they were in the home. He hadn't scrambled his lockbox code and she stole the code and broke in and
the
had a time.
irony of that timing, literally, there was a woman outside hanging out, waiting. An agent went in to do a showing and left the lockbox code there, and she actually went and found the number. Like the craziness of that timing is like,
that off. Like how did you know that you could like those steps that you could
I don't know how she managed to be there at the right time or know what to do. I have no idea. I don't know what she thought was going to happen. Fortunately, she was nice enough. She just kind of left, but she was just having a good time.
She just really believed that was her house.
Yeah. That was the moment.
But it wasn't.
I mean, that was fun.
Wild.
It was a fun time, you know. Christina, what's one of your best real estate memories?
Okay, well, I can't trump that one. One of my favorite memories that most people that I feel very proud of is that the day I got licensed, I sold my first property.
That's like,
wow.
Round of applause for that.
Good
Who
job.
sells a property on their first day being licensed?
I just have, I felt like I had horseshoes at my, so as one does who's getting their real estate license, they start telling everybody they know. So in that time, because I was working in the offices, I started letting my family know and just people around me. So, and they all knew that I was already working in the industry. So that trust a little bit was already there because that's like are you competent enough to do this? And luckily enough, an uncle of mine was in the market and kind of really antsy, and he was kind of waiting. And this house came up, and it was in like where he wanted to buy. He wanted to buy close to where he was already living, and I said, okay, like I got my license yesterday, or no, I was waiting for my license to come while we were like looking at the house. So I had a friend of mine that was licensed to come with us because that's what we're supposed to do.
For sure.
And then I was licensed by offer night. So
that's crazy.
So I, luckily enough, had already knew how the paperwork worked. Like school doesn't teach you the master of negotiating during the time and how to work the paperwork and what is appropriate and like irrevocable times and stuff like that, and how important that is, and not to screw around with them. So luckily I knew enough to know that in that scenario of those, in that negotiation, they were saying, oh, can you sign it back to us till tomorrow? We just want the night to think about it. And I said, I'm like, in my mind,
you know better.
I know that if I do that, someone could come and take the house from us. So I said, no, like, we're going to give you the price you want now. It was like, at the time, it was a $400,000 bungalow.
Wow.
And I said, okay, we'll pay $500 for it. No problem. I remember it was like $2,500 we had to come up. And we sold it that night. And luckily, because another offer came in the next morning.
That's wild.
And they were
Way
trying
to
to
trust your instincts.
So I felt really proud of myself for that. So
I bet.
that is one of my most interesting, or not I have probably
okay.
tons.
To the average person, they might be like, oh, okay, cool. But if you're a real estate agent, I think we all understand how crazy it is to have a deal on your first day. Most people are happy if they get one in the first 4 months.
Absolutely. That's actually incredible.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
No,
I do have weird stories, but
Superstar.
we'll save them for another day.
We're going to save the weird stories.
Like a
Honestly,
mummy, someone like mummified their boyfriend in the house and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
perfect.
like,
Right on.
yeah, it's like, it was normal day.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God.
In this industry, there's no shortage of funky things along the way. That's for sure.
I know. When thinking about this, I'm trying to sit here and rack my brain into like all the interesting
Walking into
stories.
naked
and
tenants.
Walking into, oh my God, I've done that
Oh,
before.
yeah, for sure.
Dude, oh
Where
my
they're
God.
Like, they're walking in and they're in the mirror and they're like, oh my God, I forgot.
Oh God, walking into
Crazy.
showings with tenants is
Yeah.
just always an interesting thing because they never want the agent there. They never want to be.
Yeah, they have some
You know.
vendetta about like selling while they're living there. Like they just, if they don't
They
want
want
to leave.
they want to be in their home, so I completely understand that. But being on the flip side of that, holy smokes! Like walking into a naked tenant. The one that I saw was like on his bed, and he was just like waking up from a nap, and I'm like, this is special. Okay. Anyways, but
Love
okay.
that.
So I'm not going to share that story. What story am I going to share? We're going to move on from that. So mine, since we're all talking about like our first, I might as well go and talk about my
I love
first.
it.
So when I was licensed, it was a friend of my dad's who was selling his condo, and he was gracious enough to be like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll give Jennifer a try. Let's just, whatever. It's a condo. It's in Scarborough. Let's give it to her. I really can't remember what the listing price was. Somewhere between
I feel very
150 and
connected to you right now
Yeah.
with your Scarborough story.
Scarborough
Scarborough
girl. I love it. I love Scarborough. So it was a condo in Scarborough, and he was nice enough to let me list it. And I went through all of the, like you cross your T's, dot your I's, do everything you possibly can to make it perfect.
For sure.
Right. And that was all done. It was just such a nerve-wracking experience. We ended up selling it. It sold within, I would say, like 2 to 3 weeks. Nothing miraculous, like no one-day experience here. And he was, really pleased. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. I also got a house to sell. And I was like, oh, okay. Well then,
Hello,
hi.
dream client.
Hello,
How are
hello.
you?
Hello. Only this time we were actually, okay, so a side thing, me and my husband were engaged at the time, and we were looking for our first home. This all just kind of was happening at the exact same time. So, and I really wanted to be in Toronto, and my husband was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about this. And, maybe we should be, because he was, for whatever reason, his dream place to live is Markham, where we live right now. So I guess he got his way. But anyways, so we were in Toronto, and I was like, we can make this work. The house price is, we can make it work. He's selling a house. So my client is selling the house. And I kind of went into it thinking, okay, yes, I can have this listing, or I could also have this house, because he told me that it had been rented out by a family, and well, it might need some love. And when you're young and just getting married, you think
some love's a good thing.
Let me tell you. So I'm thinking, okay, so we're gonna go and we're gonna do our own like fixer upper HGTV special in there, and I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna buy it. So okay, so we go to check it out, and he's like, yeah, okay, come with me. Just mind, the tenants have some stuff.
Oh boy.
All right. So let me just start off by saying we walk into the place, and the mom is like sitting on the stoop, like just kind of like outside, and just like, yeah, go on in. I'm like, oh, okay. So we go on in, and honestly, guys, this was literally the first house that I walked into to potentially like buy or sell, whatever. It was a hoarder's house. It was literally wall to wall things and boxes and stuff. And the irony was every room you went in, there was another like interesting bunch of stuff. So like the first one was,
like it was a collection of things in each room, or
it was just there was just stuff everywhere, and every room had its own story to tell.
What a journey.
I had a hoarder house once, and there was a snake that we couldn't find.
Oh, I don't like when there's lost critters.
Yeah, but good.
No.
Wild.
So this one, like the first one, like the first room we went in, like I turned left, and like literally there's a dude just like sleeping on the couch. I don't know how he found the room, but there was a guy just like sleeping on the couch. And then another room that we went in, they were like, oh, don't mind, that was my daughter's. And I feel, to be really honest, it's actually quite sad, but we're not going to go to the sad part. We're going to keep it light and funny here. But it's like, oh, it was my daughter's room. She moved out, and so we haven't had a chance to tidy up. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. So we went into her room, and unfortunately, it's literally like a mattress on the ground with like a blanket. And I'm not joking, guys. There was ketchup on plates and stuff. It was like plates. Like she literally had picked up, left, and
Left her ketchup plates.
it was hard. The ketchup was hard.
There's some funky stuff.
You know what I
It's
mean?
always interesting to see the way other people live. We go into so many different circumstances
Yeah.
of just like a snapshot of people's lives, and
Mhm.
it's very interesting on a regular basis.
I feel as so desensitized to it that like sometimes I walk into places and I'm like, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
completely
Well, you
fine.
learn to accept that.
And
No judgment. You
yeah.
learn to just accept everyone lives differently.
And then I look at my clients and they're like,
yeah.
this is not fine. We
I
are
will
not
say,
okay.
yeah. When you bring your clients through, it's
Yeah.
always very different. Like I just had clients purchase, they were looking for a bungalow in Peterborough, actually.
Mhm.
Burlington. Why did I say
Whoa,
Peterborough?
that's
Very
okay.
different place.
All good.
And yeah, there were a couple that had tenants and they got scarred hardcore. They're like, we will not go and see another house that has tenants. One had a dog that was bleeding on the floor. Another one had a kid that wanted me to take him home. He was on my leg the whole time. They're like, why is the kid on you? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. This just happens. They're like, you're pretty chill about it. I'm like, you just kind of get used to it.
Oh, wild, Kelly. That's recent too.
That
So
was
it's-
very recent.
yeah,
Yeah.
like-
But that's the thing. Like, people just do what they do, and we enter their homes on a
Mhm.
daily basis.
Thank you for letting me in. You have a beautiful home.
Yeah.
And you walk out. You're
The
like,
best
oh
when they
my-
offer you like snacks and stuff. Is that ever? I'm like, I mean, I like a snack, but I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. So needless to say, we didn't buy it. We did
Mhm.
not end up buying
We
that house.
didn't.
No, we didn't. We left, and then the daughter came home, and she was again. I'm not trying to. I'm gonna go comic relief here, but like essentially, she walked up and was like kind of like storming up like in a movie, and she was very, very pregnant, and she was like smoking a cigarette on her way up. Like it was that kind of a
Mm.
situation. Again, not to judge, but that happened. Needless to say, when we went to go, we still thought it was an excellent deal because we were like, okay,
Like, who else is going to deal with
who
it?
else is going to deal with
Yeah.
this, right? So we went in and we offered, honestly, I think at the time it was like 250,000.
Love
It was a
that.
side split in Scarborough, and I was on an awesome lot near Bellamy and Lawrence. Really,
Oh,
it was
nice.
pretty. It was
Mhm.
honestly really pretty. Anyways, needless to say, our offer was casually rejected by my client / dad's friend, and I did not get the listing. Gee, I wonder why.
He's like, oh, you think my house is worth 250? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. No.
So
can
how
leave,
did they get?
so.
Do you know if they got the tenants out in the end or?
I'll be really honest. I kind of like pieced out after
Yeah.
that. I was like, okay, thank you so much for letting me sell your condo. And I'm sorry about the house, that kind of thing. But
So
of course, they ended up selling it. I know it's been years later. They ended up selling it and the tenants left. The tenants unfortunately left with likely a bunch of stuff left in the
Oh,
in
for
the
sure.
situation. But, it was worth a lot more than I offered for it. But
I
we
mean, but you
tried.
tried.
You tried, right?
Closed
So-
mouths don't get fed.
There you go.
That's what my fiance always says to me. He's like, if you don't ask, how are you gonna know? And it's like, it's true. If you don't ask, how would you know?
Yeah.
So
Honestly, I always admire people. Like when we're in
Mhm.
negotiations and clients are like, well, can you just try for that? Can you just push a little? I'm like, oh, yeah, all day. We'll push. Why not? The worst they're going to say is no.
But you know what? In certain situations, it's the result has actually been surprising because you don't know.
You don't know.
Half
No,
of the
you don't
time when you've gone ahead and pushed something like that, people have actually accepted or at least
100%.
countered lower or higher or whatever you want
Yeah.
it to be than you actually expected it.
I think one of the best examples of that is when you're holding an offer night and say you get 7 offers. It's shocking how often the lowest offer ends up coming up to the top
Oh,
3 in the
yeah.
end.
oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Like people be like, oh, I don't even let them come back. It's like, why? You don't know. Maybe they just really wanted a good deal, but they've got money in the bank.
yeah, they're just trying it on.
Yeah.
Just trying to see how high they don't want to start off too high.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you got to push.
For
absolutely.
sure.
Speaking of multiple offers and the way the industry is right now in the market, like things are a little fiery right now. Our low inventory is really kicking
yeah.
buyers in the butt again.
Oh yeah. Like I'm getting whiplash this week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Christina's like, it's been one.
Christina's been a story. You've got the stories.
It's been a week. Yeah, like I was in a competition yesterday and I actually won, and then my clients backed out because
Oh.
they wanted confirmation that was like there was multiple offers. And like you're at the 9th hour, like we're literally like you got the house, you have a check because you're not the highest offer, but because you have the check, you're going to get the deal. And then they turned around and they were like, well, we just want confirmation that there were 11 offers. And, at that time at night, no one wanted to entertain that type of like, and then it's like, why can't we try? And then you
Yeah.
try and
Yeah.
then, people call your bluff. And yeah, so now my clients don't have a house.
How did they feel about that? Just curious.
This morning felt like a telenovela a little bit. Like
Okay.
when they called me, it was like very upset, and I was like, there's no one here to blame. Like we try, like, we did, you can only, like, in so many words, only blame yourself. And now for next time
For sure.
that, like, the real estate market isn't, I don't know why everybody always thinks that most agents or like the majority of agents that you meet, they're always in there to make you spend more money, or we have a hidden motive, or it's like, the thing is for us, the $5,000 that someone would pay more, let's say, to seal the deal, it's not more money. It's really not that much more money for us agents. And like clients sometimes, like they'll leave, they don't need the $5K if they just want to know that it's going to be like sold to the right person. They're serious about it. They know that they're not going to have problems about closing. Because asking questions like that at the 11th hour makes people nervous in the sense of like, are you going to bring these random questions to us at closing and tie up closing or anything like that? So, it's an education process, especially if someone's going to get the first house that they bid on. Yeah. So it's definitely a learning experience right now.
Well, I feel like in the industry, a lot of clients, until they've gone through the process of like being burned or not getting the house that they want in multiples, there's sort of this like general—
Did we pay too much?
Exactly. Did we pay too much? All of that kind of stuff. In a hot market, in a multiple offer situation, unfortunately, it's going to be the people that have already been burned a couple of times that end up winning because they know exactly what it takes to get the job done. Yeah. Versus, people who are scared or want to tread carefully.
Well, but these people, because it was so fresh to them that they were fixating on weird things like, well, we have a check and they don't. So then why would, and I said, look, yes, a check is a more serious, like, it's a serious thing, especially if we're neck and neck with another offer like we are right now, they'll side with us. But most people that have been burned and like, the buyer yesterday had to wait in the bank line for 2 hours. Oh, wow. So somebody who's been burned, let's say twice, 3 times, is not going to go wait in a bank line again for another 2 hours. They're just like, I'm going to pay what I have to pay for this house. And if I am the successful buyer, then I'll get you the check tomorrow. Yeah. And that's kind of the mentality. And I said, and then in the end, this offer, the one that was higher but didn't have a check, actually spent a little bit more to secure the place without a check.
And in addition to that, though, I feel like there is a lack of trust from people that agents are actually going to like have integrity and do the right thing. There's a huge stigma around our profession. That's why I
didn't want to get into it. I was like, I don't like the way people look at real estate agents.
Everybody thinks you're—
I didn't know until I got in.
Sleazy sales agent, or the whole process is like that. And for whatever reason, some people actually want to like be like, oh no, I'm going to do it differently. Oh no, I'm going to offer this and I'm going to show them. Everybody seems to know how to do a real estate agent or broker's job.
Oh yeah.
Until they get there
100%.
And then get smoked out of the water. Yeah. Not that your clients did that, but you know what I mean? Like just, it's just a situation.
They, people think that they have a lot of leverage. Yeah. Like they're like, oh, what do you mean we have no? I'm like, you kind of don't. Like there's 11 other people here. For sure.
The confidence is like uncanny that some people have. It's okay, sure.
I find it so interesting though. Like if you're going to hire a professional, like we'll let you know. We've been through it. Many, many times. Like we'll tell you how it's going to go. We understand the process. We know how you'll get burned or how you'll win. Yeah. But they need to learn for themselves all the time. Yeah. And then later they'll be like, yeah, you know what? Remember when you told us? You were right. You were right. More. It's like, well, I do this for a living. I am looking out for your best interests.
I'm going to share that because I was in that boat. Me, myself, and I. Okay. So we talked about real estate investing a little bit earlier than this. The first ones that we bought, I got an agent in the market that I was looking in because I do believe that I don't know that market. I want someone who knows that market. So we went in with somebody else and I learned because I thought I knew better, right? And it was actually my husband who thought he knew the most, but that's fine. So essentially we put in offers and there was multiple offer situations happening. And, forgive me, this was London, Ontario. And yes, I know it's hot now, but at the time I was like, okay, but you're like a secondary market. Toronto's like the hot market. So multiple offers. What are you talking about? How many are there really? And do I need to, I can put in conditions. Of course I can. Why not? Okay. So lose out on the first one, lose out on the second one. By the third one, my husband's like, okay, so maybe we can like omit the financing condition, but we have to have the home inspection. And I'm like, okay, well, that means that we're probably going to need to come up on our price. And anyways, back and forth. But it wasn't until we were burned the first and second times that we finally ended up landing. And it was actually the London agent who, shout out to Sandra. She basically was like, it's okay, it's fine. She was so calm and cool and collected and was just like, it's all good. You're going to lose and then you're going to recognize what it's going to take to win. And then maybe you'll win. She literally said that to me. And I was like, damn, girl, I'm an agent. How do I not know that? You know? But anyways, we ended up winning.
Sometimes we're the worst actual clients. When I am in a situation, I wouldn't want to deal with me. That's for sure. When I'm a buyer, I lose all logic.
No, it goes
when
out the
I'm representing
window.
my clients, I am organized. I know what you need. I know how to help you. We have plans. We have goals. There's processes. When it's me, oh my gosh.
You're thinking about the money and thinking about the mortgage payment and you're like, it's the rationale.
Well, I'll offer way under ask when I would never let a client, like at that point, you're just being silly. Or I got into multiple offers and I got competitive. When we bought our place in Windsor, I was like, do what you need to do to win. I just want to win. Like I was the crazy buyer. So it's different.
And it gets exhausting because you're like, okay, well, if this is like you lose once and then you got to go out and you got to maybe you see a bunch of houses and they're not the one. They're like, I'm not worth. And then that next one comes out and you're like, I've had to look at a bunch of ugly homes or homes I don't like. And then you offer on that next home that you love and then you lose that one. That is what changes buyers. Because they're just like, I don't want to lose something that I really loved again.
Yeah.
And then we have those
and that's actually something that I lead with. I'm like, are you going to be upset? If this is your limit, this is what you want to do, no problem. I completely understand that. Just so that, we're all clear. If, the house sells for another $5,000 or $10,000, are you going to be upset? Yeah. If the house sells, to someone who didn't have a financing condition, are you going to be upset? Just ask yourself those questions. Yeah. And if you're okay with it, well, then that's great. We stop. Absolutely. Because we've got to do things as you've laid them out. But if they're going to be upset over like a small something or another, then it's something that they have to think about, right?
Yeah. You have to, a lot of people want to own a home here. So if you're not going to buy it, someone else will.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, but maybe not tomorrow, but someone will buy it.
Absolutely.
Especially if it's renovated and it's nice and it's a family or depending on the product. But even in condo forms, like if it's a nice layout, nice finishes, and it's priced well, like it's going to sell. Like it really, I just see there's so much movement.
Absolutely. Totally agree. So why don't we take this conversation into, we talked about sort of the stigmas and what we used to seeing. What do we think is happening? Like, what's the future of the industry from you guys, from your perspective?
I'm definitely curious to see. Obviously, we never know. We always joke about not having the crystal ball. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I definitely feel there's like an transition of brokerage models right now. That's very evident. I mean, we're all with Rare. We see what they're doing. But I think from those old school ones that we all grew up knowing to there's several new players that are all doing cool things. And I think we're definitely going to see an evolution of the model of brokerages. We've talked for a while about the evolution of what teams look like and how those models play out. It's a lonely industry. We're all looking to collaborate and find people that we resonate with. But then at the end of the day, it is our job. So the financial side of how teams work and remodeling that for sure. But I think when it comes to the stigma, a lot of that's going to come down to like how many, we have 80,000 agents in Toronto or something like that. Like the per capita amount of agents is absolutely insane. And how many of those agents I'm going to ruin the mic. How many of those agents do deals? How many of those agents are serious agents? How many are full-time agents? How many, actually really know the markets they're working in? And that's what gives us a stigma a lot of the time is the people that don't take it seriously.
Well, usually when I meet people now that don't know me, so a lot of my business comes from referral, repeat.
For sure.
People that know me and they know that I've been doing this for a long time or what I think is a while. And I take it very seriously. It's a full-time gig for me. I have many facets. I stage. I am starting my own, like I'm trying to go into my own brand of staging as well and like making it bigger. And people always are surprised when I say I do it full-time. They're like, oh, you do full-time? It's not a side gig for you? I'm like, no.
Oh my God. How can it be?
I have no, but that's what I was asked that like twice this week already. And it's like, no, like, how could I do any, like, I just don't know how I would be able to do another career, be really good at it and like help people do like one of the biggest purchases of their
For
lives
sure.
or their financial future.
One
Like
thing too that a lot of people don't realize when they're asking those questions is, there's agents who, are just doing deals here and there and they're hoping to make a quick buck or whatever. But at the end of the day, the way that we're all operating, it's a business. It's not just like a gig. It's not just a job. Like you have a business, you have accounting, you have finances, you have marketing, you have your client facing work. Like there's so much more to it in the day to day than just putting up the sign and posting a reel on Instagram.
No, I'm like, even showing properties this week with a buyer of mine that I've worked with him now 3 times. So he's a single now, and I sold his matrimonial home, and I told him, I'm like, listen, I'm a lunatic when it comes to staging and presenting properties. Like I make sure that it is like, if I need to move a PAX, we're going to move a PAX. Like whatever's the highest and best function for these properties.
For sure.
And so we go and see a property, and the one room, they staged it online. They said it was a bedroom, but in real life, it was staged as an office living room. And he had the hardest time envisioning it. And I said, like this age, like if they just took a little bit more time,
for sure,
it would. And he went to the open house again after, and he's like, Christina, there's so many people that were at that open house that were asking those questions. Like, where's the second bedroom? Where's the second bedroom?
Yeah.
Like,
it's always surprising how, because we're in the industry and we all love staging and design and homes, and we have visions, we can imagine things, but the average person, I always have to rewind and understand that they see what they see, and oftentimes they can't see past that. So it really is our job with our staging and our setup and how we present a property to show its best and highest use, because other people just won't see it.
Well, I even called you this week to say, like, what do you think? Like, am I doing this as a service right now by leaving it this way in this condo right now? Like, do you think the average buyer will see it? And we both agreed, like, no. Like they won't understand what that space could be used for.
If that space just has the chair and the artwork, then they think that all you do is sit in the chair and maybe read a book or stare at the artwork. Honestly, it's just so.
And I literally had to
basic.
I literally held, like, it was like, okay, you're right. And I just went and I took the piece of furniture out, went back to my storage, like,
because they can't envision the fact that there would be a table and chair, and you could actually use it to set up a little mini office station, work from home station, right?
Or dining room, you know. Like,
as soon as you present it to them in that way, you literally see people when they walk through the door just go,
the amount of homes that we've gone into after the staging, and they come in and they're like, oh my God, I've been living here for 10 years. My house could have looked like this. It could have worked like this. That's the best. I mean, I feel bad a little bit, but that's the best feeling when they're like, oh my goodness, you completely changed our house and it makes sense now.
Okay, I always say that the way that we stage is not the way we live.
Oh,
no, absolutely not.
We can pretend.
The whole idea of magazine-worthy staging, that is, I think, a principle. That is the future of the industry. Like that is here, and it is a consistent, like it has to be in play in 100%. Order for someone to sell their home in today's market.
Yeah, it just continues to get elevated.
Yeah.
As the average buyer becomes more of a millennial and more like the demographics.
They are so savvy.
They care about that stuff.
Absolutely.
Like, there's been, I'm sure you guys have had it where people want to buy your listings and they say, can we buy the
furniture? All the time. Absolutely.
I'm like, sorry, then I won't have any.
But I think going back to like, where's the industry going? I think ultimately there's so much more information out in the world. Obviously, we're in an industry where everyone needs shelter, everyone needs housing. So everyone's always looking at what the industry's doing and what's happening and how things work. So I think it's really being mindful of how agents are operating, the services that we're providing, stepping things up. I think you have to do a lot more moving forward than you maybe previously had to. And I'm hoping they're going to continue to kind of filter who gets into the industry, because
that would be excellent. I love that they brought it over to Humber College, and I'm not exactly sure what that program looks like, but perhaps they have a better screening process. And
it sounds like it's
teach you the things.
It's a little bit more in depth. Yeah,
it's more of a commitment from what I understand. Like I've known a few people that have started and like they just don't finish because it's just like, oh God, like
which honestly it's better. It's better for the industry as a whole to get in the real professionals and people who want to do this full time and better the industry. So jumping off of that, let's go back to, because you had mentioned something about brokerages and the changing of the guard almost. How important is it? So we've kind of like the granddads who've got the Remax, the Century 21s, all of the Sutton Group. And then we've got Rare, and we've got, other ones that are coming up to play, Real, other boutique style brokerages with different models.
Mm-hmm.
How important do you guys feel that it is from your client's perspective? Are they choosing you because you work for Remax or Rare, or are they choosing us because they like, know, and trust you?
I think that's part of the generational shift. I think if you had asked, our grandparents, they probably been like, I want to go with Remax. I know them. I trust them. They're a familiar brand. I think nowadays it's so much more about who you're actually working with. I think at the end of the day, the brokerages are there to serve the agents, not the clients. So it's what's the agent going to bring to the table for their clients. And I think as much as there is the changing of the guards, do I think Remax is going anywhere? Not a chance. And I think it's also, the satellite offices and the different brokerage offices doing different things. I just think there's a modernization of the model at this point, whatever your brand may be. But ultimately, I've neave had a client care what brokerage I'm with. They care what I can do for them.
I can say I have been, because I do have a 16-year career here. How many? Wait. I think I'm at brokerage number 5. And personally, yeah, no. But again, 16 years. I was at Century 21 for quite a long time. And honestly, they were a fantastic brokerage. I'm not going to poo-poo them in any capacity. But just moving on, every time I changed, there was a reason for it. I changed. I went over to Remax because I wanted to join the team. I was with Keller Williams for a hot minute with Kelly, just because they had great, education and training. And then, we met Adam Stern and heard all about Rare. Met you, Christina, and no, that's anyways, just the culture, the fostering of family here felt really right for us. Yeah. And whatever it happens to be for others, I think there's always a reason why you would move. Right?
I think too, it's also noting I've never had a poor experience with a brokerage, and I don't hear from many people who have. I think there's just different points of your journey in your career, and different brokerages are going to offer you different things that serve you better.
It's at the end of the day where you feel the most comfortable.
For sure.
Who are you vibing
what you
with?
Find value in.
Right?
I came from what they call a discount brokerage. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it. Obviously, you're much more self-sufficient, which I still am. Mm-hmm. I have my own routine and my own way of doing things, and Rare was perfectly fine with me continuing that way, which I love. But for me, moving brokerages was just, I needed a change. And I think that's sometimes where people are in that crossroad. I needed to be around new people. I needed to meet, make friends. Because the biggest thing about us even doing this podcast is collaboring. Yeah, and exactly. I found that I wasn't having that at my old brokerage, or I had outgrown what I was doing. So coming to Rare was I see the opportunity. I had a few friends that I knew from the industry, from working in the beaches, that they had switched over, and I really respect their businesses and what they do. And I said, you know what? Let me try. And this is my 3rd brokerage. I started at Royal LePage, went to Homeward, and now I'm at Rare. And I'm loving it. I do really love, I really love that there are like-minded people that I'm working with, people that are willing to learn. I like that I have a bit of a voice here, which is not something that I had at that old brokerage. Because, when you have something where they're the old dinosaur brokerages, they are the way they are. And they were perfectly fine. The admin there was top notch, but it was just time for me to move on. And I love that I came here and I've met not only you guys, but I've met so many awesome people that are willing to listen, share, and spend time together, which I really have been enjoying.
I think even for us, we were fully happy at our last brokerage, and honestly, COVID had happened too. So I think that's where the culture was huge. We're we want to find our people. We want to work with like-minded people and collaborate and, get out of this COVID bubble and get out there and learn and share and grow. And honestly, the culture at Rare is amazing. I don't want to keep pumping them because this isn't just about our brokerage, but I just think wherever you are, you need to find the people that resonate with you. And, everyone's been so accepting and kind and open and shares, and that's huge. So wherever you are, find your tribe.
Find your people. Find your tribe. I think that's a really good way to put it.
For sure.
And also, we are going to jump off of that. So it's episode 1, and we decided to call this podcast The Rare Agent, not just because we're at Rare, but because we feel that every agent brings something special and unique to the table, right? And so that's why we called it The Rare Agent, and we want to discuss what makes an agent rare. And of course, you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to go around the table and I'm going to say, Kelly.
Oh boy.
What do you think makes an agent rare?
I mean, you're going to get mad because I think I'm going to steal your answer a little bit too.
Okay.
But I mean, for me, I think ultimately at the end of the day, every person's rare in their own way. And I think we get into an industry, and again, when I came into it, I was like, I had a perception of what it was and what I was supposed to be within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And breaking free of that felt so good. Like, I don't have to wear a certain blazer every single day, and my cards don't have to look the same as yours. And I think it's finding who you are and how you can channel that into your business and to how you serve your clients, because at the end of the day, we're dealing with people, and I don't want to work with people who don't want to work with me. I want them to resonate with me. I want to resonate with them and create a good experience. So I think for me, a rare agent is someone who really channels who they are and can share that with their brand and with their clients.
I absolutely love that. That is so brilliant. And you totally just stole everything I was going to say. So
you can work on that while Christina tells us.
Yeah, go for it, Christina.
Ooh, well, mine is a little bit of a long-winded answer, but I think agents, what makes a really great agent or a rare agent is someone who can handle adversity, someone who can wake up in the morning and think that they have some certain routine ready, like your to-do list is ready to go, but then stuff comes up and deals are happening, you're dealing with emotions and stuff and whatnot, and as well as your personal life. And I think a rare agent can kind of can you got that? What's
Compartmentalize.
I'm not going to use it because I can't say it.
Separate the two.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's someone that.
Do you want to start that part again, just so I can cut it?
Sure.
Yeah.
So just start me talking about what a rare agent is. Okay, go. Okay. I think, a rare agent is. I'm not going to use one word, but someone who could handle adversity, someone who could work off the cuff, someone who understands that not every day is going to be the same. And yes, we can all have structure and a schedule, but real estate isn't a 9-to-5 business, and it can throw you in a loop, and a house can come out and you need to show it to your clients, and you may be doing an offer that afternoon. And I think a rare is someone who is rare and who's really good at their job is someone that could kind of hold their composure and know what their job is that day. And their job is to help these people make this real estate decision. So I think someone who can handle adversity, who doesn't get flustered or upset or let their emotions take over them in these like high stressful situations.
I think that's huge, because you even mentioned that you're an empath. And so obviously you feel for your clients and you feel what you're feeling, but you also need to resonate with that, but also separate it, because you need to be the voice of logic and help them navigate their emotions. And that's huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like sense of calm, like a superpower is definitely being calm in very high stress situations.
Yeah.
I have noticed a lot of the agents that are very successful are in fact very calm. They just seem to be able to roll with it. Things roll off of their shoulders, and that's a definite superpower of a rare agent.
Okay.
If you let every little thing in your real estate day trip you up that, isn't going perfect or changes or falls apart, oh my gosh.
Or worry that if you've made the right decision or not, or worry that you've guided. The thing is we don't tell people what to do. We just guide them.
Yeah.
And with time, we get better and better at guiding people and knowing through doing deals, we get better at knowing where things are going to go. And it's just like a ninth sense that you eventually develop that is you really realize that the sale of it is just helping people have all the information, remembering and reminding them what they're looking for, and then telling them like, this is your choice. This is where I think it could go, but ultimately this is your choice.
Yeah.
And it's more guiding than sales.
That's the thing though. I think the calm comes from if you're working from a place of integrity and you're, sharing the data and the information and you're truly working for your client's best interest, you should be calm. You have no reason to be concerned. You've given them the best possible tools that they could have and
working in the form of like not scarcity. Like,
definitely
it will come, the checks will come, the deals will happen, be a good person, do good work, and that will always be the driving force of your business to thrive. Definitely. And that's something that I really try to do.
I definitely agree with you. And I'm going to jump off of both points both of you have made. And just because you just said that, I can't remember who said this quote, but there was something about, don't chase butterflies, help to grow the garden that brings the butterflies home to you.
I love that.
I love that.
You know, so I think,
Stealing
speaking to
it.
your point, speaking to your point, Kelly, I think a rare agent is authentically themselves. Put out that vibe. If you're a little quirky, I know, if you're calm, if you're cool, if you're collected, if you're a hustler, whatever it happens to be, find your own tribe, not just your real estate peers, but your actual clients.
Yeah.
Find the people that want to come and work with you. Like build that garden and they will come. That to me is, what a rare agent actually does and accomplishes. Because if you pretend that you are, the person wearing the pin or doing the specific things that realtors do, you're just you're sheep, right? You don't really stand out from the crowd. Oh, that's a tagline from somebody's brokerage. But anyways, being your authentic self, and I think being able to flow with the ebbs and flows of the business in a calm, cool way is just, it makes a really super rare agent.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think to just top it up and wrap it all up, it's collaboration too. I think anyone who's going to be successful in this industry can't just be in it for themselves. You have to be open to sharing and collaborating and working with others, because at the end of the day, we're working with clients and we're working with other agents every day.
It's about relationships, relationships with each other and with our clients, right? It's not just a dollar sign. It's not just making a sale. It's establishing those relationships, nurturing them. And honestly, doesn't everybody just want to be friends?
Have a good time.
Just have a good time, man.
Yeah. At the end of the day, why you want to sell the house, I want to sell the house. Why would be why so much vinegar? Let's just
vinegar. I like. You know what? I forget the singer, but
why so much oil and
water? Doesn't have to be salty.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so why are you so bitter? Let's just get this done.
Because at the end, the good vibes.
I if everybody feels happy, then I think the whole universe opens up to it, and positive things just continue to happen. So I just
running on that energy, just absolutely running on that energy. I love it. Sparkles, fairy dust in the
I think
air.
I think it's the no breakfast.
Guys, did we just finish episode 1 of The Rare Agent?
Yay!
So excited. Our first podcast. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so glad we did this. Guys, if you're tuning in, please continue to tune in. We have lots of great content planned, lots of great guests. We can't wait to share more about the industry, about our careers, about being a rare agent. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Make sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe on all of the podcast channels, YouTube, everywhere we're at, because we're peeling back the layers here. And it's going to be really fun and super special. So thanks so much.
Time.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Bye.